man that used to come up, and he loved Mrs. Reinstein.
Boylan.
Yes. Here's Mr. Oh yeah, Boylan Saloon. We always call it where the fish. He said the fish bite here. Call it Boylan Saloon. They're coming out of the saloon here. So we call it always Boylan Saloon, a big rock, and the fish would always bite there. He said they're just coming out of the saloon.
And he had a crush on,
Mrs. Reinstein.
and what did Mr. Reinstein say about that?
Well, I think his wife had left him, the guy. He didn't. Mr. Boylan didn't have any children, did he? I don't think so. No.
He had a daughter.
And he lived in a hotel in New York.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm talking about his, what he had was a daughter.
Yeah, the wife
I don't know
was.
about the hotel in New York. I know he lived there,
Yeah.
but they were
He used
divorced.
He used to come up almost every year.
Yeah.
And he'd be into Mr. Reinstein's booze. Whenever he wanted his drink, he'd get it. And I don't think he ever brought any booze of his own.
No.
Well, Mr. Reinstein brought it by the case.
Was he a heavy drinker?
No, not Mr. Reinstein. And he never drank during the day, just before supper at night. Because he said if you have a drink at noontime, it spoils it for your supper time. He said then no, he was careful. Then he'd have two, before supper he'd have 2 drinks. But only once I saw him loaded soda. Him and Mr. Reinstein fighting over the money. And I said, why are you fighting them when you have so much money you don't know where to spend it? And if you'd have seen their home in New York City, you wouldn't believe it. They had 2 floors there in the apartment building, 2 floors. And of course he was brought up rich, Mr. Reinstein. He didn't know what it was to be poor. And he's the one that used to kick about the little bills. Frank Schmidt was a Jewish man. Schmidt worked for him. And he said he always kicked about little bills. He said, Dora, we didn't know. He came home once and he said, Dora, whatever you need, get it. He said, you don't hear him yelling, it's just me. And of course, a lot of the stuff he could deduct, his homes up at Hancowala 70. My father got, when he first worked, he was wonderful salary, $75 a month. In 1935, that was a lot of money. But when he died, he was still getting the same thing. But, of course, Mr. Reinstein didn't know. Sometimes he'd have, for the furs, 350, 450, sometimes 500.
But he had to work hard for that, though.
Freezing cold.
Yeah. Okay. I'm through. Yeah.
But I know she was lonesome for you when you weren't here. Oh, the poor little thing.